Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. Let's start off with our 500 millibar chart here, and we can see that the first system, or really well, first of all, we have a very large, broad trough feature, and within this trough feature, there are a few different short waves. The main one that has been responsible for most of the lake effect we've been getting lately is kind of off to our east now along this axis. Um, However, another one is going to be coming as we head into this afternoon or this evening into the overnight, and tomorrow we see a shortwave trough develop here along this axis, and that starts to influence our area tomorrow morning and through the day tomorrow, and we are expecting some precipitation from this system in the form of snow, and then it looks like we have another little disturbance right in here as we head into tomorrow night and into Thursday morning that moves into the area. And that jet also starts to intensify. We have a lot of winds coming from the west over the lakes, so we will likely have some lake effect from that as well. Going a little bit lower down to the 850 millibar level, as we move into this evening, you can see that first shortwave really taking form, and then really moving into our area. We're right right on the edge of that jet, and that just kicks right into our area through the day Wednesday. So definitely expecting some precipitation from this system. And then you can see the next system right coming in right behind it, especially right here along this axis, coming in tomorrow night and into Thursday morning. Now as we head down to the surface, we can see the, excuse me, some hiccups. Oh, goodness. Whew, sorry. There is a high pressure system to our south here, a low pressure system off to our north, and another low pressure system off to our southwest here. Um, and that high pressure is going to start making its way out, and we are going to have an area of low pressure associated with that Monday system start to develop along here, but it quickly moves on, gets close to us, moves on, and as we head into Thursday morning, it really takes off to our north, and it brings in some frigid air behind it. This has been a common theme lately, and this cold wave is looking like it is going to be worse than the others. And yes, that includes last night and this morning. It was freaking cold if you weren't outside. I was outside last night. We were hoping to see some of the aurora. Of course, that was not to be, but being outside for more than a minute sucked. It was it was frigid, and this next cold wave looks like it is going to be worse. On the topic of temperature, let's zoom in and take a look at our highs and lows. And I will talk a little bit more about that cold coming up in just a moment. But again, first, let's take a look at our highs and lows. For most of the day today, okay, the entire day today, it is going to be below the mid-teens. 14, 15 degrees is probably the warmest we're going to get today. Maybe we get close to 15. Tonight, temperatures are going to reach their lows actually pretty early, around 8 or so p.m., right around the 10-degree mark. And then things will gradually start to warm through the night and into, excuse me, tomorrow morning. By 7 a.m., we're looking at temperatures in the upper teens, getting close to 20. Then as that, low pressure system starts to build in, by tomorrow, let's see, our tomorrow's high looks like it should be just below 30. The upper 20s getting close to 30. Then, of course, tomorrow night, it cools off a little bit down into the low 20s. But then as we head into Thursday morning, it starts to get cold, and it will continue to get cold. By 7 a.m., we are just below 20 degrees, and I mean this. Enjoy the 20 degrees while it lasts. Seriously, it is gonna get cold. Let's take a look over at this website, Pivotal Weather. In this image, this has a bunch of different models, including some ensemble models. This one is a GFS ensemble, and it is starting at the time that we just ended at the other site. And as we head through, you can see Friday temperatures down to -3. These are real temperatures. This is not wind chill. This is the actual temperature. -3 degrees. There's even some -19s, -20s in Wisconsin, Minnesota, -15 in Iowa. And then Saturday, -5 for our area. And this is one of the warmer models. Let's take a look at some of the others, such as the European ensemble. Excuse me. Once again, catch up to where we were. This is about where we were. This is where we were. It gets colder through Thursday. -6 on Friday. Again, -20s in Wisconsin, Minnesota, even into the Dakotas over here. Friday night, this is Friday evening, -11 for our area, -16 as we head into the night, -17. Again, not wind chills, actual temperatures. -30 in Minnesota. Now let's head over to, let's take a look at something else. Maybe we look at the icon here. Again, get back to where we were. This is the end of that other site. Now let's move forward. Again, it gets colder. -4. -4 on Friday. -9. -18. -21. Again, not wind chill. And this is the mean across a bunch of different models in whatever ensemble this is looking at. And then still, -11 early Sunday morning. Very, very cold. And then let's look at the Canadian ensemble. Okay. Gets colder. And for this is one of the nicer models to us. -7 on Saturday morning. Yes, there are -38s, -40s over in Minnesota and the Dakotas. But the lowest it drops us to is -7. Even then, very cold, colder than it's been so far, because this is the actual temperature, not the wind chill. So, are we going to get all the way down to -20? Who knows? It is a possibility, though. But, even the nicest models, the models that are nicest to us, drop us down to like -7, -5, -7, -10 range. Gonna get very cold this weekend, so do be prepared for that. If you have any plans, make sure that you bundle up, inform your family and friends, and if you happen to have people that you know that live out of state, maybe in the Minnesota, Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin area, let them know too, because they're going to be going through it worse than we are. Also going to take a look at an experimental national blend of models, and this is it's like another great ensemble, takes a big blend of models, and even that is spitting out an average of -11 degrees for our low Friday night, -3 in the Saturday or Sunday morning, even -2 Friday morning, and the lower quartile for Saturday morning here, Friday night into Saturday morning, even the lower quartile is all the way down at -20. That's not even like the reasonable worst case scenario, you know? So, should we expect -20 degrees? Probably not, but it is more than it's more than in the realm of possibilities. Realistically, we should probably expect to be around the -9, -10 mark, or -11, which is still freezing cold. But I just wanted to highlight that, negative 20 degrees is going to be a very real possibility. And again, that is even before wind. Now, if we do take a look over here, the wind is expected to peak earlier in the day Friday, and then kind of calm down as we head into that Friday, really cold Friday night period, although it does pick up a little bit into Saturday. So it could, wind chill might be on and off at some points in terms of how cold it is. But even with, a 3 mile per hour wind here, that is going to turn a negative 11 real temperature into like a negative 20 wind chill. So do keep that in mind that even though the winds will not be overly strong, it does not take much to turn a negative 11 real temperature into some very ugly wind chills. Getting back on track now with things that are actually in our normal forecast period. I just felt like that was important enough that I needed to go beyond my normal time frame to highlight. But going back to our normal period, we still have snow to worry about tomorrow. Don't forget about that. Things are looking calm now. Not a whole lot going on at the moment, or even tonight. But as we, or this evening. But as we head into the overnight hours and towards Wednesday morning, snow builds into the area with that first system that'll be coming through. This right here is 7 a.m. So even early in the morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., that snow's going to start building in. And it's going to stick around until, until 1, 2 p.m. And again, this is an ensemble, so it loses some detail. So there probably are still some scattered snow showers ongoing across the state at this point in time. And then as that second system, we might have a brief calm period as we head towards, late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. But then that next system starts to come in and it really kicks off the lake effect again. We're going to have more lake effect and it's going to be just as before, where for our area, it's on and off. We're going to get bands here or there. And of course, on the coast, it is going to be the worst. And that looks like it is going to continue into Thursday morning. So yeah, more snow and a fair bit of it. Excuse me. If we took a look at our mean 24-hour snowfall on here, we're looking here, 2 to 4 inches on this pretty much across the board. But let's not just rely on this. Let's look at what the National Weather Service is saying. Here, with the experimental probabilistic snowfall range amounts, they are expecting 3 to 4 inches for us here in the Lansing area from pretty much now to 7 a.m. on Friday. And again, the vast majority of this is going to fall tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon with that system. But some of this will be lake effect all the way into, Thursday. Again, 3 to 4 is the expectation. The low end amount, so there's a 9 in 10 or 90% chance that we get this amount or more, is 2 inches. So even if the system really underperforms, we are still looking at least 2 inches of snow here. Whereas the high end amount, if the system overperforms, 1 in 10 chance, 10% chance that we get this amount of snow or more, is 5 inches, with that little nub of 6 here starting to creep close towards us. So that's probably on the higher end of 5 inches. But the expectations 3 to 4, could get as little as 2, could get as much as 5 to 6, but the expectation is 3 to 4. Now, this video is already at 14 minutes at this rate, so I'm going to move past wind at this point, because we've kind of already talked a bit about wind when we were mentioning the cold upcoming, but I will take a brief moment to look at it. Just to get a general idea, pretty calm for the most part today, maybe a little bit peak right around now, but still not bad. Maybe a little bit tomorrow. And then looks like the strongest point, at least in the current forecast period, is going to be Thursday morning with sustained winds maybe around 15 or so miles per hour. And then with gusts, 20, 25 today, this evening, little maybe strong period around 30 late this evening. And then in the morning, generally around 25 mile per hour gusts, with some 30s to 40s potentially further to our south. as we head into Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. And then as we head into Wednesday evening, things calm down a bit, gusts around 20 miles per hour. And then, of course, some pockets of 30 show up as we head into tomorrow night and into Thursday morning. Now, let's take a look at our cloud cover. I don't see anything right now, but not that long ago I did see little peaks of blue sky, so little less cloud cover than expected, at least looking at this, but we could very well see some more breaks here and there through the day. Not a high possibility, but there is a chance that if you really look for them, you may see some patches of blue sky here or there. Then, as we head into the evening, looks like we are actually going to have a window where it's fairly clear for a few hours. Of course, at this point, the sun will have set. This is 7 p.m. So, unfortunate, but it won't last long anyway, as within a few hours, clouds build back into the area associated with all that snow that we are going to be seeing starting late this night, or, very early Wednesday morning and lasting through most of Wednesday. Now, as that moves out, and the main lake effect portion starts as we head into Thursday, or tomorrow night into Thursday morning, it may be a similar thing where we see some breaks in the clouds, just dependent on where those lake effect bands are. Some areas may be getting slammed with some pretty heavy lake effect snow, not seeing anything, horrible visibility, while somewhere just 5 or 10 miles away might be looking up at some clear blue skies. It really just depends on where some of those lake effect bands start to come in. And with that, that's all I have for today. Thank you for stopping by and watching, and I hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.